You've got to feel sorry for a brand like Mitsubishi. In a country that is as bucky mad as South Africa, the conversation around 4x4 double cabs tends to involve Toyota and Ford and maybe Volkswagen and Isuzu. And lately, Fiat have come along and stolen some attention, but only because it was so unexpected. And while all of that is going on, Mitsubishi has to try and remind people that they also have a bucky. It's called the Triton, and this is the new one. For now, it's only available as a double cab, but more variants will be added to the list in future. We're driving the current top-of-the-range 2.4 DID double cab 4x4, and if you think you've seen one of these before, you're sort of right. It is very similar to the Fiat Fullback, which we drove midway through 2016. The only real changes are in the details, things like the grille and the wheels. As for the defining things, the metalwork, the shape, the front and rear lights, well, it's basically identical. Which introduces some awkwardness to the roads. Is this Mitsubishi, with its proud 4x4 heritage and legion of loyal fans, just a rebadged Fiat? Strictly speaking, it's the other way around, because Mitsubishi licensed its chassis and architecture to Fiat. Whichever way you choose to view it, this is a very nice looking truck. Certainly different to the usual approach, with a more slippery overall appearance and some elements that could be construed as stylish. It has the same problem as the Fiat Fullback we tested though, in that some of the add-ons aren't the most convincing. These rock sliders, for example, look horribly aftermarket. The interior is also very similar to the Fullback, but in here it's the little details that make the difference. So for example, both buckies make do with a touchscreen infotainment system, but the interface in the Triton is much nicer to use. And although they are both very highly spec'd, this interior seems a little bit more upmarket, thanks to things like a nicer steering wheel and keyless operation. It has the same brilliantly comfortable seats as the Fullback. Combined with the dual-zone climate control, Bluetooth and leather, it is a very nice cabin. Mitsubishi has concentrated on creating as much space in here as possible, and that means it can easily compete with anything else on the market. Head and legroom all round are very good. The interior helps the Triton take a step ahead of the Fullback, but once you're on the road, you can really start feeling the differences. It's a 2.4-litre four-cylinder diesel, which means it's slightly smaller than the Fullback's 2.5, but with 133 kilowatts and 430 newton meters, it has more power and more torque. But more importantly, the power delivery is a lot better, more linear with more low-down shove, and power right the way through to the red line. The ride setup is about the same, which isn't bad. Not quite as refined as the Hilux, but certainly a step up from the Isuzu KB. Mitsubishi has also developed a stability control system for wet roads, and the selectable four-wheel drive is also designed to deliver more car-like handling in slippery conditions. When we drove the Fullback, our concern was that it wouldn't be ideal in off-road conditions because of a slightly laggy power delivery that might make it difficult to control at low speed. Those concerns are gone in here. Even more reason then to stick it on an off-road course. For those people who have maybe let the Mitsubishi name slip to the back of their mind, now would be a good time to remind them that this is a company that knows a thing or two about building 4x4s. Besides the legendary status of the Pajero, at the top of the list of manufacturers who have won Dakar, you'll find Mitsubishi. They've won it a total of 12 times, which is impressive in itself, but that's 4 times as many as the company that's second on that list. And the only reason they stopped winning is because of financial issues rather than being outgunned by the competition. So the Triton has very strong off-road genes to help with its abilities in the dirt, and it had no problems dispatching what we threw at it. Well, almost no problems. You know, some days TV shoots go well, some days not so well. Seem to have picked up ourselves a puncture, which leads me to believe 2 things. One, maybe these aren't the best tyres for an off-road vehicle, and secondly, these rock sliders are extremely annoying. A quick tyre change later and we were back on the course. There is a lot of mechanical nerdiness going on underneath the car, but what helps make it feel so effortless is all your interactions with it. So that power delivery I spoke about, the 6-speed manual gearbox, which has got a really nice shift action, and the steering, which feels good and is really direct, so it helps getting around tight obstacles really easy. And it's all backed up by a design that helps it match the rest. The approach and departure angles are good, but like the fullback, the ground clearance is a little on the low side when compared to the likes of the Hilux and the Amarok. The Triton also packs a center diff lock and hill start control. A price tag of 540,000 Rand means you'll pay a fair chunk of cash more for the Mitsubishi Triton than you will for its Fiat fullback twin. But having driven both, it's easy to see where the money goes, and the Triton is a better package. That said though, for just a little bit more, you could get yourself a Toyota Hilux Raider or a Volkswagen Amarok bi-turbo. And I'm not sure I'd have a Triton over either of those two. The Mitsubishi Triton may be seen by some as just a rebadged Fiat, but it has a very different feel to it. That's thanks to a more powerful motor with a better power delivery and an interior that feels more upmarket. Another plus is its off-road ability, which is unquestionable, but its price puts it directly up against more favoured competition that are easily as good without costing too much more.